Welcome back to the What's Up Eddie channel, Divine Therapy Sessions, and of course I'm the one and only Eddie. So glad to have you guys back, and these are my Divine Therapy Sessions. And in today's Eddie's Life Hack, lesson number 21, we're going to talk about betrayal, deception, but this story that I'm going to tell you guys is literally riddled and layered with a bunch of lessons in one story. And this story literally it's a sad story because I wish that I had handled myself better at that time period. And I wish I could say that I did it because I was young, but I continued the process for quite some time after the fact. And not till I would say more of the recent, I don't know, maybe year and a half is when I really thought about this story, because what I like to tell people is that when you do an inventory of your behavior, a lot of the times you blame other people, but it's oftentimes it's our fault. We just have a skewed vision on it, and it takes other people for us to actually realize where we play a part as well. Because everything, if someone even is treating you terrible, you play a role in it. Whether or not you believe it or not, it is the level of integrity or truth or authenticity that you're going to have with yourself. That's why I always say it's imperative for us to do the work. You guys, today I'm in my car. It's too windy outside, and I've made videos before, and the wind is overpowering. So, all right, so you guys are going to have an in-car special. I love you guys. So the story goes as this. I had a really good friend in high school. And this guy was a pretty awesome dude, man. We'd obviously go to parties together. We hang out after school. The normal high school friendship. But as you get to know someone, you start to make your opinions, your own ideology, ideas. I can't even say the right words. The ideas that you have about a person, right? And for me, there were some things that I noticed about him that I didn't like, but I can say now in retrospect, I didn't like him myself, right? Because it's commonplace for us to do. But this guy was a very handsome man, very attractive, and he had a lot of attention from females, right? And I remember he had this habit of talking to women who were actually already involved with somebody else. And I had seen him do it multiple times, and he got himself into a lot of trouble doing this. And I knew this about him, right? So I remember one day, I was coming out of math class, and as I come out, I see him and my girlfriend at the time speaking. They're talking to each other, but the way that they're talking, it looks too like they'd been talking for a while, and it was too passionate. You know what I'm saying? And now, was it too passionate? I don't know, but it was something that was in my mind, right? And I remember distinctly walking up to them, and I was angry about it. And I was like, what's going on, you guys? And they're like, oh, we're just talking about, I think they were talking about the period, the in between, the break from one period to the next, right? So I can't remember exactly what they were talking about, but I just remember saying to myself oh yeah, they're not talking about this. They're talking about something else. And it's because of what I knew about this guy from the past, right? So I remember letting it go, right? But it harbored. And so the level of low self-esteem that I had on the inside. So it's one thing to have an appearance, right? To be a handsome man, but it's a whole, and at that time period, for me, it was everything to me was the world. In high school, that's how it is, but we take that stuff into adulthood too, where you got to be good looking, you got to be fit, you got to be wearing certain clothes, right? And it's all superficial. It's the outer shell, but on the inside, that's not how I was feeling. I felt insecure. I felt like my girlfriend at that time period wanted to be with him, and I knew his behavior, so he probably wanted to do that. Now, can you imagine that ideas, right? It doesn't make sense. And maybe he was flirting or whatever the case is, but is it really any of my business? No, it's not. But the story goes like this, you guys. I remember he was talking, okay, so we're playing water polo. And I remember him before our practice, he actually, you guys, I actually tried out for swimming and water polo. Mighty big failure back in the day. It didn't work out. Of course, I was looking for attention, right? A man in a Speedo. What bigger attention are you gonna get? Oh, that one failed miserably. I got embarrassed, but that's a whole different story. So I remember him telling me that he had hooked up with this girl, right? And I was like, oh, okay. And I knew the guy he had hooked up with, or the girl, her boyfriend. And so I plotted and planned, and I was deceptive. It was an act of betrayal, and it was thought out, and it was thought out thoroughly, you guys. So I actually went up to this guy and I told him, hey, this guy is talking to your girlfriend, and he actually said that he hooked up with her. And so I said that in the beginning of the day, right? And I remember just kind of like going about my own business, right? And this is this is what stands out in my mind so much, because this is the first time that I've ever done something this, I would call it like a puppeteer, right? Like playing with people's lives. And I remember distinctly, like, just forgetting about it, right? Go about my day, go home, and then as I'm sitting there in my bed, my mom comes in, right? And she's like, hey, someone's at the door for you. I think it's your friend. All right. So I go out and I speak with him, right? And he's like, and he looks angry, right? He's pissed. He's pissed because this guy just went up to him and threatened him. So he's like, hey dude, what the heck, man? Did you like, he has his fist clenched, like he wants to fight, right? And he's like, and I remember the level, so it's always layered, right? The lies don't, once you start the lie, it's like Pandora's box, opening it up, and it has to be a continuation, a cobweb of lies, right? And the level of you playing with people's lives, it increases. And for me, I told him, what did he say to me? He goes, hey, did you tell him that I hooked up with his girlfriend? You're the only one I told. And I was like, and I thought, like, because I'm an intelligent man, right? So I thought on my feet, oh, dude, you're the one what are you talking about? And then I made him believe that it was his fault. That how dare you come to my house and try to fight me? And I made him feel bad about himself. Can you imagine the layer of deception that takes? I told him, dude, you said it out loud. There was people around us. Someone probably heard it and went and told her. And he looked at me and he's like, damn, I didn't think about that. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm your best friend. Why would I do that to you? And you guys, I told him, whoa, were you going to come over here and try to beat me up in front of my house? What's wrong with you? I made him believe that it was his fault. You guys, you realize what it takes from a human being to do stuff like that? It's foul. It's foul. It's low vibrational. And why do I tell you guys a story, right? It's the huge monumental moments like this that, because the story didn't end there, you guys. His life got a lot worse because of what I did. So there was a group now of this. So the guy that I told, right? They were actually good friends before, and then now they're no longer friends. They're enemies, right? And that clique that he had, that group of people, they ostracized him. My best friend ostracized him. They threatened to beat him up. They would make sure that every party that we went to, that he couldn't come in, because if he did, he would get hurt, right? So his level of quality of life went down because of what I had done. And I remember him even being out front of one of the parties and saying, hey dude, like, try to get me in. And I remember, like, I felt bad, but like I had already lied about it, right? So I couldn't take it back. So I thought, right, I could have owned up for my own behavior, but I didn't. And I just remember our relationship dwindling after a while. And the biggest part that stands out to me is that this guy ended up actually getting in a car accident and dying. And I just remember feeling like, damn, man, like that guy spent his last days, like, I don't, you just know, like so there's, it's like I said, right? Everything is multi-layered and it has many lessons to it. These lessons are monumental in my life because one, it was betrayal, the huge betrayal. Then it was deception, right? I deceived him. I deceived his friend. I use situations for the betterment of myself, but hurting multiple people, right? Because I didn't think about the guy that I told that he hooked up with his girlfriend, right? He got hurt. That's why he wanted to beat him up. He was angry, but inside he was hurt. And I also hurt this other guy, my best friend. I don't want to use names, right? But I hurt this other guy because I was jealous of him, because inside I felt certain ways about myself. I felt, and these are the low vibrational things that I talk about in my channel altogether, right? Why do we, and this isn't just a story that just pertains to me, right? It's not unique. This story, everyone out there can resonate with this on some level, right? Because we do stuff like this. It's a behavioral thing. Why do we do these things? And this multi lessons are because I didn't feel good about myself, because I was actually low self-esteem, high ego. And the ego part of this is that, oh, I'm popular, I dress a certain way, or because I'm muscular, or because I am handsome. But that's not how I felt. On the inside, I felt like a little boy. I felt scared. I felt fear. I didn't want him to take my girlfriend because he was more handsome than I was, right? It's all layered from a low vibrational fear state. And the betrayal, why did I betray him? Because in the end of the day, I saw myself in him. I betrayed him, but that means I betrayed myself. And I think moments like this, that he actually lost his life, like, so I didn't have anything to do with his losing his life, but I definitely had something to do with his remaining days, weeks, months. It was lived in a state of like being separated, right? Now, it's, to me, it brings sadness to my heart now. And I know that I've asked for forgiveness, and I've had my own ceremonies, right? And I've done my own inventory, and I know where I play my part. But the reason why I bring this story up is because you can learn so much from it, right? It's the internal look. You have to look at yourself as to why we do these things. And they usually come from qualities of, one, not being loved, not feeling loved, not feeling like you're enough. Unworthiness, self-sabotage. I took these lessons with me in life, and I still did the same things over and over and over again, just with different people. And it showed up and it bled into every part of my life. And I say this, guys, for you to recognize, do you resonate with some of this story? Have you done this in your life? And if you have, most likely you are here right now because you resonate with what I'm saying. So if you're here on the channel and you're listening to it and you've gotten actually to 13 minutes, that means you needed to hear something, that there's a better way to live, right? What is the resolution of the story? How do we get better, right? And for me, it was admitting to it. So, and I say this with so much of my heart, you can't get past something until you bring it out into the open. And if you don't bring it out to the open, eventually someone else will, or God will. And this can be put into any part of your life, whether it be at job, whether it be at your home, you're in your relationship with your significant other, relationship with friendships. Nothing in the world will stay in the darkness, right? Everything will always come to the surface. Your deepest, darkest secrets will come to light. Why not do it yourself, right? Why wait for the universe to teach you a lesson? Because that's what happened to me eventually. Eventually, people started to do that to me. My behavior became it's what I was vibrating at, right? And so it attracted like individuals. And the way that I learned my lesson is that I had to get screwed over, played with. The things that I did ended up becoming my reality, right? And then it forced me to change my behavior, because then I knew how that person felt on a deeper level. Don't wait for that to happen, you guys. I'm telling you right now, you could stop. So I say this, just don't wait for a process like this to happen to you, right? You can fix your past right now. All you have to do is take advantage of what I'm telling you, right? I'm giving you the most beautiful advice that you're ever going to receive. Do the work. Admit it. Bring that darkness to the light. And when you do this, you'll shine a light on the things that you're doing, and then find out the deeper reasons as to why you did it. And if you can get to the root cause, and a lot of the times it's because you didn't get showed love, or it could be something traumatic that happened in your childhood, or it could be a previous relationship, right? Whatever the reason or the case is for you, that is specific to you. And then you find ways of changing the behavior, and then you have to be consistent with that behavior. But in this process, you're able to get past it. It's no longer, you are accountable to yourself as well, because you don't get to participate in that behavior anymore, right? You know it's wrong. And at a deep level, when you're even lying to yourself and others about it, and you're trying to hide it, all you're doing is lying to yourself. You're hurting yourself. You're cutting yourself off from source, from your higher self, from God, right? Your true essence of how you're supposed to be in the first place. Because we're not meant to be this way. We're in the heart space is love, compassion for our brothers. All that other messy stuff that I talk about comes from an evil, low vibrational state. Whether you want to put evil or good or light or dark, it doesn't matter, right? You just don't feel good about it. So you can use your mind to lie about it, or you can use your heart. And from my experiences, when you're moving or living in the heart space, you in your life it becomes a better state, a higher quality of living, high vibrational. You get to bring in the abundance that you want. You get to bring in the friendships that you want. You get to bring in the love that you want, because you aren't going to have a successful life if you act in this behavior. I know from my experience. So take my experience and learn from it, right? That's all I got, you guys. I love you guys. Spread this story. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Give me a thumbs up. All right, guys. Bye.